Today's video is about how you can design your tables in Microsoft Word or how you can make them look fancy. After designing your table in Microsoft Word, you get to see two extra tabs, and that is the table design and the table layout. The table layout tab has to do with the height and the width of the table, as well as inserting rows, columns inside your table and deleting your table entirely. But then you can also do a couple of things. There'll be more tutorials on this particular channel, so make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on future tutorials. We will be looking at the first tab, which is the table design. Over here inside your table design, after you are done creating your table, head over to the table design tab and then you click on this drop down. There are a couple of designs that you can select from. So we have the plain tables. So if you are the type of person that don't like designs, you can leave your table as plain as it is. But then there are a couple of options you can select from. So there's the plain table 1, plain table 2, plain table 3. So let's go with this. So this is very minimal, and there is list tables as well. So there are three categories: the plain table, the grid tables, and then the list tables. Now let's go with the list table. So you're going to select this particular color over here. Now after selecting this, you head over back to the table design. You're not done. You can modify your table style. So you're going to click on this modify table style, and over here this is the name of your table. Okay, you can give it any name at all that you want in case you want to make that a template. So let's give it a different name, say employee data. And then the style is a table normal, so you're going to leave the style as it is. But if in case you are doing a table simple 3, you can select table simple 3, then you have this over here. So before you implement your designs on the main table, you get a preview of what you are working with. Ours is a table normal, so we're going to leave it as table normal. Then over here we are applying the formatting to the whole table, but we have some options here like header row, total row, first column. I would recommend that you take your time and go through some of these things, because the more you go through, the more you discover things that you can do to your table. And we are applying this to the whole table, but let's select header row, and this is going to apply just to the header row, all the changes we are making. Then we can select the font, so you can select the size that you want over here. We're going to go with this. Then we can give it a color. So let's select a very light color here, and we're going to change the fill color as well. In case you want more colors, you can select this and then you play with the colors as well. You can drag this here, you drag it down, and you play with the colors. You select any color of your choice and you select OK here. Then you select OK when you are done. In case you want to make this a template, you can say add to template and you select OK. Then you have your table as you designed. This is not looking professional, so we'll go back to our table design and we're going to select another one over here, and we have something nicely displayed here for us. If you are working with your table and you want to view the grid lines, you head over to borders, click on the drop down and you select view grid lines, and then you're going to have your grid lines displayed for you in a situation whereby you are typing something and you want the grid lines to guide you in whatever you are typing. You can use this. Then when you are done, you go back to your border and then you uncheck the grid line and you have something like this. Then you can use your total row option here, and you can use your last column option here as well. When you click on this, you have that. Okay, so let me use something like this for us to see more of the demonstration. So let's change. So now that we've selected all black, we want to modify our table. So we click on modify table design. We are going to change the color to this and we select OK. Then we have something that's nicely displayed here for us. We didn't touch our border. Our border is still the same. So when we check this, this displays the last column. You can see the last column over here. And when we check this, the last column goes away. And then we have the banded rows. See, so in you can play around with this. You can have banded columns as well, and you have something like this. Then you can have the total row, so you have something like this at the bottom. Then we have the header row, to the header row, you can design the top here. But aside this, you can select from the range of table designs that you have, and you can modify your table style with this option. Then you can also create an entirely new table style by just clicking on that, and then you have your details in the table. Then you go ahead to modify the table. There'll be more tutorials on this particular channel, so make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on future tutorials.